What is up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. And in this video, we're talking about a 2020 NFL draft prospect that is an absolute stud that needs to get more recognition, but I'm glad he's not because I think he could be a steal for the Detroit Lions in this year's draft, or really anybody that gets their hands on him. Let's get it started. All right, now, yes, these are not prescription glasses or anything like that. Prescription? I can't even English. These are not those kind of glasses. They're just for, screen lighting and stuff like that. Been on screen slot. Good. Don't want to hurt my eyes, so I wear these. And, they help out a lot. They help from getting dry and stuff like that. So just kind of ignore those. We're talking about a prospect that I've been very, very high on for a while now. Now, yesterday I hit you guys with a video where I took CBS Sports top 6 ranked cornerbacks, and I kind of rearranged them. I rearranged them on how I felt they should have been ranked the top 6. And obviously, those are my opinions. You guys have your opinions. I was digging in those athletes like crazy. And Cameron Dantzler is a guy that I've been high on for a long time. He wasn't in the top 6, so I didn't include him. However, I really dug in today. I looked at a lot of other cornerbacks and I was like, you know what, today's the day. Let's look at Cameron Dantzler. I've been excited for him. I really want to see if it's real hype. Like, I should be hyped. And I should be hyped. This guy is an absolute monster, and there are some cons which we will touch on. Instead, here I'm going to be telling you guys the main cons that not only I have, that other people have, that's been something that's been brought up a lot, and kind of tell you, my argument against them, or tell you, I just want to talk about the cons, because I think that's important. Also going to take about great things that he does do, obviously, maybe even throw in a few clips as well. So definitely, you guys should be excited for this one. This is an absolute beast. Now, Cameron Dantzler is a guy that doesn't get a lot of love, and some of you are probably thinking, oh, are you serious? You just like this guy, it is what it is. Again, it's my opinion, so, if you don't think he's such a great cornerback, I get it. But go watch him. That's all I got to say. But still, Cameron Dantzler is an absolute monster, and it was backed up by the film that I watched today. I've been following this guy for a while, and I've been very, very excited. I felt like, he could be the next Darius Slay, Mississippi State. And there was just a couple of main concerns. Let's talk about those right off the bat. Cameron Dantzler is a 6'2", 185-pound cornerback out of Mississippi State. And let's go through the cons. These are the cons by Pro Football Focus. I'll talk about some of mine. Pro Football Focus says, built like a stick. Little muscle mass throughout entire frame, which is absolutely true. Very, very skinny. And very skinny cornerback. And that's kind of like the main thing that goes against him, is when you look at the size, you're like, the height's there, but he needs to put on some muscle. I mean, he has to get a little bit bigger, right? He's already really skinny and he's not very fast. He needs to put on some muscle. That's never a huge concern to me. I think a lot of other things can be concerns. I think you can be concerned about a time in how slow a guy is. I think you can be concerned about, injuries. I think you can be concerned, obviously, about the play on the field. For me, being a little bit stronger, adding 10, 15 pounds is nothing that I'm ever concerned about. Players do that all the time. People do that all the time. For you to add 15 pounds of muscle in an offseason seems like something that would be very, very easy. Now, some players, they don't add muscle as well. I'm telling you, if this dude's getting paid millions, he's going to figure it out. He's going to have trainers. He's going to get some weight on. I definitely have a lot of confidence in that. Is his length, okay? This is a very lengthy player, and they think sometimes it can be a crutch for him. What does that mean? Well, basically, he's kind of grabby at times. He's a very, very physical cornerback. At Mississippi State, these cornerbacks are physical as heck. They are taught to be very physical, and when you watch him, you're like, yeah, this dude's physical. However, he doesn't get a lot of flags called on him. Now, that could be the refs, kind of understanding, but at the same time, you would think there'd be a lot more flags called. There's not. He's not called for many penalties, even though he's a very, very physical player, which is incredible. Difficult to gauge because of his 40 time. So his 40 time initially came out as a 4.64. That was his 40 time. Me, that was one of my biggest things. If he gets a little bit bigger and he's not as slow, I'd be fine with him, because the slowness kind of reminds me of Tease Tabor. He did an unofficial 40 time by himself of a 4.38. Now, you can believe that if you want. He did that. And I don't really take it too much into consideration, because honestly, you don't run 40s on the field. I think it's important to be fast, but the 4.38, I'm going to take his word that, hey, that was real. There's a timer and everything. I think that was legit. Obviously, conditions change. You're never running on perfect conditions and anything like that in an NFL game. So I think he has speed, because if I'm watching when he plays and he's getting burnt constantly, then I'm like, yeah, that's probably not a guy that I want to go after, right? Because obviously he's a little slow. So that's definitely some concern, but I haven't seen that on film. And then the 4.38 came out and I was like, dude, I can't put anything against him. And the final con that I saw was his injuries. Obviously, he missed 3 games last season due to injuries. That's a legitimate con, and there's nothing I can say against that. But I will say, he missed 3 games, okay? It's not like he missed half the season, the whole season. Caleb Von Chasen's going to be a first-round pick. He missed way more time. Terrell Lewis. There's tons of guys dealt with injuries. We've drafted Austin Bryant. We've drafted Carry-On. The guys that have dealt with injuries. 3 games, all right? 3 out of 12. I know it's something to be concerned about. At the same time, I don't think it's something that you should be overly concerned about. 3 games, I understand I want to get hurt players, but the potential is so high, and I need y'all to realize how good this player can be in the NFL. So now let's talk about Cameron Dantzler a little bit, okay? And then we'll probably go into a couple of clips that I need to show you guys. So let me go through my pros and cons very quickly. This guy plays the ball very, very well. He is an absolute ball hawk. I talked about some guys that can really find the football very well. This guy's another one of those players, and he can play a little bit of zone, but recently, 2019, he looked very, very good in man-to-man, and with his height, a lot of man-to-man teams are going to be very interested with his ability to play so physically and so much press. Like, you don't see guys that weigh 185 playing as physical as he does. There's no other cornerback that you're seeing that's like a very light, skinny dude that can literally press at the line, that can check at the line with some of the biggest wide receivers that can literally hold his own without getting called for flags. I mean, this guy is he's something else. I don't really get it. And if he can add some weight and add some muscle, this guy's going to be an absolute freak of nature at 6'2". Okay, this is going to be a problem on the outside. He already has that, and that's nothing you can teach. You can't teach height. You can make someone stronger. You can't make him taller. And because of that, well, I mean, some people think you could stretch people out and make them taller. No, you ain't going to make him taller. He's 6'2". That's great. I'm good with that. He has tons of confidence. This is a very confident player. Kind of reminds me of Darius Slate in that sense, and Jeffrey Okudah. I watched Jeffrey Okudah. The swagger was off the charts. He knew he was great, and that's something I like to see. I don't like seeing people over cocky because then that's not good, but you have to have something to you. You have to realize how good you are. This dude realizes how good he actually is, and I don't think enough people realize how good he is. This dude needs to be recognized for sure. He has a head for the ball. He's an absolute competitor. He's fierce. He's cocky. He's got swagger. Not too much where at the point it's like, oh my gosh, can you just stop? You know what I mean? You're trying to make plays. He's making plays, though. He's a very good cornerback. He can play press, can do all that stuff. Now let's talk about the cons that I came up with when I watched him. His size. I feel like his size is definitely noticeable on jump balls. When you just throw it, like, say, for example, if you're throwing a fade route. If you're throwing a fade route in the end zone, there I think he might struggle a little bit. Not necessarily in the height aspect. I mean, he didn't do this very often. Maybe like a couple of times he was targeted on fade passes. Usually what their team would do was slide a cornerback his way, to kind of make up for that. But one of the fade routes, he actually came up with an interception. So he still made a play on it. I mean, there's definitely some concerns here. He's very physical, which could be called for flags in the NFL. We know the NFL can be a little bit different. They can be more, calm flags, whatever it may be. Sometimes they can be, a little more flag happy. And that's something that the Lions will have to teach him. Hey, you got to relax. But it's easier to pull a player back. People always say, as coaches say this, easier to pull you back than set you loose and make you go do stuff. It's easier to pull him back. So possibly you could pull this guy back a little bit. And I see this with a lot of players. All these rookie cornerbacks are grabbing at some point. I would say the guy that I seen do it the least amount are guys that played off more, stuff like that were allowing short routes. Most guys that are pressing up, getting into someone are usually going to be very grabby, and they're going to be very physical down the field coverage. And he's not getting called for flags, which is the most impressive thing to me. It's not like over amount of flags where you're very concerned. That's one of his concerns. If he was, I would say that's a big concern. However, he's just not getting called for enough flags for me to say, yeah, that's a big concern. Bump and physical. This is the way that I told you that they coach, and that the top end speed isn't there, right? He ran a 4.6, 4.64 officially, 4.38. I don't think the top end speed is necessarily great. I think sometimes, if the guy catches a slant and he gets a step, he's probably not going to be able to run him down. Let's just be honest here. Unless he's not a fast wide receiver, he's probably not going to run him down. But this is a guy that also challenges the short routes, and I think that's huge. Guy that challenges the short routes is important. I haven't seen this with many cornerbacks. Guys that challenge short routes are not very common. I see a lot of guys that break on balls very quickly. This guy's all up in there, right? He's trying to make plays on slants, and that's just, again, how they coach at Mississippi State, and I think that physicality, that nature of playing would fit very, very well with Matt Patricia, and it can't be slept on. You guys cannot sleep on this guy. So I'm going to show you guys some clips. This dude is an absolute beast. Let's go look at some clips. We're back. So yes, there's going to be a couple changes. You're probably going to see a filter on the screen, make things look a little weird. This game's going to play a little slow. There's going to be no sound to the game. A couple things like that, some weird zooms, just so I don't get copyrighted. That's all it is, okay? So let me just point that out. But this dude's an absolute beast, and I think this is someone the Lions should absolutely target in this draft. If he falls to the second round, I would not be mad if they took him at 35. I mean, I know you look at mock drafts and you look at, Pro Football Focus's draft board, and they say, oh, don't do it. He's not that great. I think he's great. I'm actually going to give you guys a quote. Okay, let me give you guys this quote so you guys don't think I'm crazy. Because some of y'all are watching right now and you're like, dude, this dude's crazy. He's out of his mind. He just realized Cameron Dantzler. Pro Football Focus, they say he's like 9th best cornerback. He's out of his mind. Let me also tell you what also Pro Football Focus said. If you're focused on Pro Football Focus, you see what I did there? Pro Football Focus also said, I quote, if you could guarantee me he puts on 15 more pounds, this would be the second best coverage corner in the draft. So it's not just me. I'm not crazy. Watch this guy, okay? We're going to go through some clips. I'll show you some good, show you some bad. All right, first play. You guys will see it. So not a great pass. I mean, this was kind of a simple one. I just kind of want to show you how he has an eye for the pass. You know, he was able to jump on a route here. I feel like this is an interception that a lot of corners are going to be able to make, and they should be able to make. Again, he just jumps on a route. Not a great pass. But again, having the ability to jump on a route is very important. Now, let's get to the next play. I don't want to spend too much time on, one play. All right, so here we go. This is the next one, and this is, I think, where he gives up a completion, right? So you guys got to see this. So here you go, off the back foot. This was a very good catch. This is where I tell you he struggles kind of in jump balls. I don't know exactly what it is. He has a size. I think sometimes, he just kind of loses them on those deep routes, and that's one of my major cons for him. I've seen it a few times, not too many where I'm overly nervous, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on. Now here we go. Now that was more of a jump ball, right? I know he's 6'2". I just think he struggles against jump balls. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just he's not super athletic, or he didn't even look like he got off the ground there. But this next one I'm going to show you guys is not a jump ball. So quarterback steps into this one, and just look at this for a second. Just look at this. When it's not a jump ball, look at the play he makes on it. So Cameron Dantzler's right on him. He actually is behind him, right? He's kind of behind him, not letting him get deep. Sees that it's a deep route, kind of jumps back in front of the wide receiver and makes a play on the ball. Look at this. Wide receiver doesn't even know he's there, really. Jumps back in front, nearly intercepts it, lost the football. I mean, look at this. I mean, come on, man. That's textbook right there. That's beautiful. Nearly intercepted that, just making a play on the ball. Nothing easy, doesn't allow those short routes, doesn't just give it to him. He's giving him some room here. I mean, look at this. Okay, this dude has 1, 2, 3, 4, possibly 5 yards of separation. He's a 10-yard, 15-yard pass, a little dump down. This should be easy completion, at least 3 yards. Just dumps it off to him. Look at Dantzler. He's ready for it. He jumps on this. Look how quickly he's jumping on this. And it's not a bad pass. He's getting in there. He's breaking it up. Nothing easy. He's all over the field, man. He's just ready to go. And let's hop to the next play. You can see the confidence afterwards. They're both kind of fighting with each other. He's able to get his hand in there and make a play. And, he's a confident cornerback, and that's what I like to see here. Those plays where it's his touchdown allowed. I think this was actually his only touchdown allowed in 2019, right? So keep that in mind. And look what it was. I mean, come on, man. It went right through his hands. Now, I'm not saying that's a good play. Like, oh, yeah, it went right through this dude's hands. I wouldn't hold that against any cornerback. I mean, he's still there in position to make a play. That could have been a pick easily. This is, man, he's just a good coverage corner. Look at the position. Can we just look at this? So he's watching the wide receivers. He sees his eyes, looks back, realizes the ball's coming, spins back the other way, sees the football in the air, and look at him. He's playing wide receiver. There's no chance. This is LSU. This is Joe Burrow. This is, I don't know who the wide receiver is, Justin Jefferson. This is a great wide receiver, and no chance. I mean, he is just completely shut out of the picture. Wasn't targeted very often either. Dropped that pick as well. So I guess that could be a con, not finishing plays. He's just in great position. It's an absolute steal. I think he's the second best cornerback that I've seen so far, and that's me being honest. Again, slant route. Most players allow this to happen. Now, granted, it's Arkansas, and it's not a great pass, right? Come on, man. But look at this. I mean, he's all over it. He's behind him, then he steps in front, nearly makes a play. I think he's the second best cornerback in this draft class when healthy. Like Pro Football said, man, you add some weight to this dude. I think he should be a first-round pick. And if he's not, this should be the pick. If he falls to the third round, oh my gosh, you're getting the next Kenny Galladay. And I'm going to be high on this guy. And if he ends up being a bust, I'll say I was wrong. I think this guy's going to be an absolute dominant player. So Cameron Dantzler, hope he's a Detroit Lion at some point. There you go. So when some people say in the comments, hey, you're taking Cameron Dantzler, you got to put more of a focus on cornerback. I'm putting a focus on cornerback. I think he's great. So there you go. Let me hear your thoughts, comments below. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.